So what's up YouTube? This is Herps 101. I'm doing the long-awaited Blue Tongue Skink care video. I'm just going off the top of my head. I haven't prepared this at all, so if I miss anything, just comment down below with your questions. I'm gonna start off with enclosure size because that's simply the easiest. The general, rule is a 40-gallon tank's the minimum. Always go big if you can. That's for any reptile in general. So the 40-gallon is like 36 inches long by 18 inches wide. I think 18 or 16 inches tall, if I'm not mistaken. The ones I have Bane and Nissa in are 52 inches long by 20 inches wide by, I think the inside height is like, I want to say like 16 inches maybe 18, depending. Again, height's not that important. They're not going to be jumping or climbing across the glass or anything, so you're good. So lighting, there's a lot of controversy around the whole UVB thing. Most breeders keep theirs in racks, where they only get heat and no light, and they do fine. They live 25 years. They thrive. It's no big deal. I keep mine with basking lights. I just like lights better. I use these, so they're sometimes I get the 150 watt during the winter, but 100 watts since they're kind of closer to the basking spot. I use the 150 for my other one, just because it's kind of longer away. These are so close to it and they're inside the tank too, so it's kind of like heat circulating more in there. But you want a basking spot temperature of around 95 to 100 degrees. That that can be achieved pretty easy with most cases. And then UVB is not required, so that cuts down on cost of lighting fairly much. It's like $30 a bulb that you replace twice a year, versus the 2-pack value pack of bulbs is like I think $10 or $11, so it's pretty cheap. The other lighting I have is just a standard kitchen light that you can get at Walmart for like $8, and that's just to provide light in the enclosure. Otherwise, it's kind of dark because one light does not light up the enclosure that well. As far as cage furnishing goes, you can go as elaborate or as simple as you want. Keep in mind they're like little bulldozers, so they will rearrange the tank every day, most likely. I like cork bark. It's one of my favorite things to use because they can climb on top of it, underneath it, throw it around. It's not going to hurt them because it's so light. With substrate, a good 6 inches is the general rule. I basically say however like tall the skink is, like from belly to top of head, you want to like triple that, or at least double it. Because it does add a lot of substrate if you have a big enclosure. It's a lot. And for northerns, you can use pretty much any substrate. I had mine on aspen for the first year I had them, and it was fine. Everything was okay. They liked it. They burrowed in it. They shed fine, but I just wanted cypress mulch because it looks a little nicer. And it works well. With the more tropical species, you have to use a good humidity holding substrate. And with northerns, their range goes as far as 20% to 100% humidity. So I keep mine probably around like 60 or 70%. I'm in Alabama, so my ambient humidity is like, it's always like 60 or 100 outside, so it doesn't really matter, but it's always raining or humid. So again, I spray them down whenever they're shedding, and it's fine. If you don't use UVB lighting, you need to make sure you use a good calcium with D3 supplement that prevents any metabolic of bone disease or whatever. The only time they get UVB is when we go outside to walk around the backyard. That Bane had a checkup back in March, and the vet said, probably the best bone structure they've seen on a reptile so far, and he's never, had a UV light over him. He just gets a good diet with calcium and D3. And so the diet is one of the more controversial things regarding skinks. It's pretty much been proven that dog foods should be the staple because there's breeders who have 25-year-old skinks still breeding and living and thriving off dog food. If you don't like to say you feed dog food to your skink, say you feed a complete omnivore diet, because that's all that this is. And basically, because if you feed this, you're feeding a whole prey item in the long run. It has a complete animal in it, all the stuff they need, organs, all that. Whereas it's kind of hard to, unless you're going out to get a cow and you're going to grind up the entire cow and feed to your skink, which not most people do because that's frowned upon. And that's what, this is. You can also feed snails, roaches, superworms, crickets, any type of bug they'll eat. They're not very picky, mine aren't at least. They'll eat whatever you put in front of them. I have a video on my channel showing a homemade skink chow that I do. You can do that, just don't. I would never feed that as a staple primarily, unless it, the one I make has dog food. It's like probably half of it, so you could probably get by with it. But again, like store-bought turkey does not have the nutritional components of a whole prey animal. It's just muscle meat. So again, so that's the diet. As far as sexing these guys go, you can't really sex them just by looking at them. With northerns, you can do like fairly good guessing as far as body structure, head shape goes, whatever. But it's not 100% accurate. There's some videos going around showing you how to pop a skink, and you don't need to do that because it can permanently damage their spine or sex organs, and no one wants that. Generally, your male will drop sperm plugs, or you say a hemipenis, like during pooping or whatever. The only way to know if you have a female is basically if they produce slugs or give babies. So again, this is kind of just a overview of how I take care of my skinks. They're pretty simple reptiles, honestly. One of the more simple ones I have. They're not demanding like chameleons or the frogs. So yeah. And I'm actually going to show you the reason Bane is a female, and I'm not changing the name of my skinks because I've had them for 3 years now, and I've called Bane a he, I've called Nissa a she for that long, so they're gonna stay that way. But Bane is a female, Nissa is a boy, and I found that out because I have babies. So if you will hold on a second, I'll show you the babies. Okay, so on May the 3rd, I came home from class and I had 10 baby northerns running around the skink tank with Bane. So they're all doing great. So they're over 2 weeks old right now, and I'm keeping them in a rack style with basking lights. Pretty simple. It looks awful, so I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but it's getting the job done. They're growing great. They're all shedding right now, so that's why there's so much humidity in there. I don't know who's all out. Let me show you over here. This room's a mess, so I'm not going to show it to you. There's one, number 7. I've just numbered them kind of arbitrarily, no rhyme or reason. But they're doing great. They've grown a ton. Doing what babies do. They eat, poop, bask, poop some more, hiss at you, eat, poop, repeat. That's it. So they're all shedding. I've been posting pictures on my Instagram, so if you're interested, go look at them. Let's see. And again, this is what I'm keeping them in. One of the more efficient ways to keep baby skinks. Good thing about them, they're little. But yeah. So again, if I missed anything, just comment below. You can message me on Instagram, whatever. But this is the care video for Northern Blue-tongue Skinks and a baby update. So, thanks for watching. Bye.